So next up is the level created by a limit player. So as a small reminder, and you already know this level is created by a limit player who is throwing large limit orders into the market and is gathering a position. You remember this idea that when we are small traders and trade a few contracts, we can do it with one click. But if you're a bigger guy or entity, a bank, and you have to trade and buy, I don't know, 5,000 contracts, futures, stocks, whatever, it's going to move the market. So you need to do it in small pieces and try to do your best to hide your traces and make sure that less people identify you. However, for a limit player, it's quite difficult for a limit player to hide from somebody like me, because I will always see where it is. And as I've said before, the limit level is one of the tastiest places for traders like me and you in the future. It is a really perfect spot to explain what is happening, why it's happening, who is doing what, who is gathering the position. I mean, not who personally or the name of the company, but you'll be able to explain that this move is generated potentially by a big limit player who is gathering his position for either climbing or falling or whatever he is doing. You'll be able to see that something is about to happen. And a lot of times those levels, they are created by a slow market, a side move. A side move such as the consolidation and a vivid limit player, these are position gathering places, and these are the places where a lot of volume is being traded. So completely opposite from what some traders think. As I've said, some traders think that there is nothing happening, that's why it's a slow side move. But in reality, a lot of volume is being traded, and somebody is gathering a powerful and huge position, and you can later expect the market to move in either direction. And this is what we are hunting for when we are trading key levels. So let's take a look at an example of a really nice limit player. And in this example and in this lesson, I want you to show you an example from a 5-minute chart. I've been showing you many examples from the daily chart, and those are the strongest ones, and the hourly chart, these are really strong levels. However, there are sometimes really nice levels in the 5 minutes that I would still trade, as I've said before. The smallest time frame that I recommend for trading and for finding the levels, and trading, I mean the key levels, is the 5 minutes. And the largest one, once again, is the daily chart. So here we have a piece of the market which looks quite strange, but nevertheless, we do have a really nice limit player. And this limit player is right in this section right here. And it is quite easy to see. Why? Well, let's mark him. And there you have it. Here is our limit player. We have 1 touch, 2 touches. Well, this one plus or minus 3 and 4. So we have quite a few CSLs. And this is a very vivid limit player. And somebody here is gathering a position, while other traders will think that there is nothing happening and that the market is dying. It's not the case. Somebody is gathering a position. And this is just a 5-minute chart. And as you can see, marking a limit player is quite easy. Anybody can do this. All you have to understand is that you have to have many touches right into, or plus minus a few points, right into the level. And here, yeah, well, these two aren't quite there, but the difference is 0.5 points. And this kind of a difference of 0.5 points is acceptable. This is not too different. If the difference were to be 5 or 10 points, well, yes, of course. But 0.5 points, this pretty much is right on the spot. So don't worry about these kinds of super tiny small details like 0.5 points. Don't go too crazy on them. Just trust it. This is absolutely fine. And in this case, you'll be able to see that somebody is not letting the price to go lower. And this is most likely a long position limit player. So this is a limit buyer. Whoever is gathering a position here, he or it or she is gathering a long position. And that is only well apparent that later the climbing starts. And this is what the limit player wanted, and this is where from what he or it or she benefited, and its profit came from this small move. But remember that even though this move is quite small, this limit player gathered the position around the level of 13,159, and even going to this point here, so about 10 to 20 points, that's not very much. But when you're trading 5,000 contracts or 1,000 contracts, even 10 to 20 points, you will make shitload of cash. And that's what the big banks and the big companies oftentimes do. More often, they trade the daily and the hourly charts just because the amount of money they are moving. But sometimes you will see these effects in shorter time frames, such as the 5-minute here. And that's the reason why I decided to show this particular place to you. Now, I have to tell you that this is not the beginning of this limit player. And I'll show you and explain to you what I mean. But at this point, you must understand how to mark a limit player level, a limit level. It is quite easy. There is no secret, no complicated calculations or any of that. No, it is actually quite simple. And now let's see. So let's imagine that we were trading around this area and we did mark this level and we saw that this is a limit level, and well, perhaps we traded something somewhere, does not matter. But the important thing is to see how it works later. And this is where the magic happens. And this is where, once you learn how to use these, you will be absolutely astonished. For example, let's take a look. This is a little bit jumping ahead, but I wanted to show you a teaser of how these levels actually work, in what way they can produce results. So let's say here we've marked ourselves a limit level. Now let's see what happens a little bit later. Is it gonna work later? And look, tell me this is not magic. So the price dropped back down, but it dropped right until this level. This is what I mean. This is the expectation. And this is something incredible. And this is the reason why I love to trade, just in general. When you know all of these things, making money at the financial markets becomes quite easy, to be honest. It still is stressful, but that's why I say that when you're a pro and you know what you're doing and you spend a lot of time studying, it becomes quite easy. And then money becomes just a resource and not something that you think about every day. It becomes a resource that you have constantly. Now, all right, enough of that money talk. Now let's see what happens next. So we are going back down. So we are trying to punch through this level. And we try again and we try again. Look, and it does not happen. So jumping even further ahead, let's talk about the way to combine the indicator trading with this level trading, with levels, the key levels in general. So would you be taking a signal if you saw one in the indicators for falling around this section? And this is the question that you must answer to yourself right now, because the answer is quite simple. And the answer is hell no. Why? Because there is a powerful limit level. And to expect to pass this level, you have to be crazy. Well, all you could do is take a signal for climbing, perhaps in this area, so from the level. But let's talk about this in chapter 11. And there are going to be a lot more details how to do that, but this is the idea and this is the core concept of how I trade. And believe me, once you learn all of this, you will not believe your eyes. Now let's go back. Actually, sometimes I really love to see how this level has worked in the past, because when you've marked this limit level around this small section, it does not really mean that this is the first place where this precise limit player was gathering a position. And let's see if this level actually existed prior, and maybe we'll see effects of this level before. Now, and this is again jumping a little bit ahead, I want to show you the effects of this level so you already get a taste for what it's like to actually be able to identify these super important key levels in the market. So as you see here, for example, this powerful move came because of this level. Exactly same level that we've marked together here. As you can see, it was moving down, some kind of a downtrend, and then it tried to pass it, but it stopped. This is, let's just mark it. This location, these price movements here happened because of this level. And then we had this powerful move up, which is quite a nice place to trade as well, but we're not going to be jumping that far ahead. And then you can see that it was moving down, but it stopped at this level again. See how much power there is for falling? We were falling very powerfully, but this level stopped the fall. Yes, it continued a little bit, but then look, it returned back on top. This is the magic. Now let's go a little bit further back and take a look if we can find anything else interesting. Boom. Here is another one. See, it did not pass it. And see how precise this is. It's going a few points below, but it's returning. And it's returning because there is a powerful, important level. Now let's go even further back. Well, let's go a little bit more. Look, tell me that this is not important. Tell me that this level has no power. Look at how powerful of a trend we had going up. Then where did it stop? Right? It stopped here at this very level. And then it tried to pass it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. And then finally, yes, it did go on top. And then, as you can remember, we were dancing above the level. But look at this effect. And this is an immense improvement in terms of your trading expectations. Jumping a little bit ahead, if we were to find a signal here in indicators for climbing, we would leave the trade here. And look how precisely correct we would have been. This is the magic of the levels, of the key correct levels. Let's see. Here, another place. We came to this level and we stayed at it, and then we returned. So once again, the price tried to break it. It did consolidate on top of it a little bit, and then it returned below the level. Let's go even further back. So here we were on top of the level. And well, we didn't quite make it to the level yet, but then we've stopped here. And then, yes, we did finally move back. But look at the structure, look at the shape. It is apparent and easy to see that this level is there and there is some strong resistance. Now let's go even further back. And here we have another example. So a really powerful move down, and where did it stop? It stopped at this level. There was a big fight between the bull and the bear, and they were struggling with each other. But in the end of the day, the bull has won, and the buyer had overpowered the seller, and the price returned back on top of the level. This is so easy to see, that's so easy to explain, and these levels, sometimes you mark them and they work for the next 3 months and you keep making money off of them. It might seem quite easy, or maybe it sounds quite complicated. Don't worry, in either way, you will learn it. There is nothing, all it takes is practice. That's all. So I did go back even more. And look, sound downtrend, stopping here, then stopping here, then stopping here, then stopping here. A few tries to pass it, but look how precise these tries are. And then it moves back up and look what a move it generated. This level generated this move, and so on and so forth. I can keep scrolling and scrolling back, and you'll see this level having an effect on the market. It's astonishing to watch. And this all you can trade, and this all will bring you income as long as you practice this. And once you master it, oh my God, you're gonna be thanking me until the rest of your life. All right, that's enough talking about the limit level. We'll talk about it more in the future when we're gonna be actually trading them, and I'll be showing you how to actually trade it correctly. Now, for the time being, that's all you need to know about the limit level. Good luck on your test, as always. Don't forget about the homework, and make sure to spend enough time on the homework, and make sure you do everything as I've instructed in the homework window. All right, see you in the next lesson.